profession, chemical reaction. I kill the audience inside your heart. Give me your number, give me your desire. I drive my walk out, I take my gun on fire. I am a superhero, like a warrior now in action. I am a perfect hero, a super muscle, fighting for passion. I am a superhero, a magic warrior full of glory. I am a perfect hero, a super muscle inside. Here's story tonight.
Gen 3 just seems to have so much more, like, middle grip or something. Yeah, you might want to try the Gen 3 Undead if you're struggling, because this is easy to handle. You can get on the power better. You will lose out on the straights though. Yeah, good, but you're a bit soft. Yeah, it's far better. The end of the race, I think that'll just be Canada race on bigger practices. Oh shit. Other thing I like about the Gen 3 is the fact that I can see the red lights. Really frustrating. I can see them in the Gen 2. Shit, I'd have to go radius. 80% should be right, yeah. Oh wow, the pit exit's completely different. Oh shit. Sorry, what? Oh no, we've only got the practice server up at the moment. And it's to get into the practice server, you just type in Canada lowercase and then prac with the capital P, and it's all one word. Fuck, these curves are deadly.
Yep, they are pretty high up. Track temp does look extremely hot as well, 52 degrees.
out that I just lost track of time, and I was like, oh crap, the race is about to start. I realised that daylight savings, it was a non-digital clock, so it didn't auto-correct. Not getting classic clocks.
I know.
Yeah, like on your computer you usually have to do it yourself, but now it just automatically does it, so I just kind of didn't even realise everything else had just updated. Is there a way to turn the turbo, or I assume what is a turbo in the Gen 3 down?
These don't have turbos. None of these models do.
Okay. Just because like in low gears, my god.
What seems to be the issue?
It's just
easy to spin.
Yeah, it's easier than the other. It's just like the rear. It feels like it has a bunch of power and low end. So I'll just have to take it easy. It'll be fine. It's like just as it gets in high revs in first gear, it like kicks out the rears a little bit. I'll just short shift first. Undead, if you've got a TT set up as well, make sure you open your brake ducts and radiator. Oh, I'm in Discord. I'll join the TeamSpeak in a sec. One of them does have a 7th gear, doesn't it? Or is it one that's 5 gears?
No, the Model 1 has a 7th gear, but I rarely need to use it around here. It doesn't really get that fast. Hello.
I was 3 seconds up.
Are you on high fuel or low?
I feel.
So just FYI, the server will be going down shortly, so it can change to the actual race server configuration.
Guilty.
Want us to jump out now, or just wait until we just get kicked?
It's happy to do for you guys to just keep going until you get kicked. I think it's set to go down 10 minutes before the actual lobby goes up, so it should be finalizing.
Whoop. Was that it? Because I just got
I
back to...
think so.
Or did practice end? Because I just got booted back to...
I like how I got put to the moment I hit a wall.
Okay,
Yeah, you've been
it's
disconnected, yeah.
disconnected. Okay.
Is it just race at the end there for the password?
That's a good question. I have to remember what this password is. Give me a sec.
I've got here 1991 Canada in lowercase for the race server password.
That might be for the Just Race event registration. I think the actual server password, the actual server password will be a bit different, but that's alright. I remember what that is now. So I'll post it once that's up.
As it just seems that most people are here, should we do like a quick driver's brief? We're going to do that during practice.
I'll make sure people are mostly in the lobby, or pretty much everyone's in the lobby that's going to be here. So I'll wait till the lobby goes up proper and people join the Discord.
Where was Brain?
And from what I could tell from that practice session, the connections all seemed fine. I don't think anyone was really teleporting all over the place.
Well, everyone seemed fine to me. Everyone seemed fine to me. Let's just hope that continues to be the case.
So that just piqued my interest. I'm going to post something in the iRacing chat just so you could see what I had to deal with the other day. A lot of what do you call it? Chopping or whatever.
Where they jump up and down and shit.
Oh no, this is a dude that was flagging in and out of the server, and I'm really annoyed they haven't introduced all of the. Anyway, I'll share it in the videos.
Oh, god damn it.
Hey fellas, how's it going?
Good.
Very tired.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Hey, Steve said he'd try and make it. He's come back from the 2-hour drive. Is the registration on Just Race? Does he need to do that? I think he's going to miss it.
Oh, it's not 100% that he has to do that. It's not necessary. He can still join as long as he's got the password.
Easy. Cool. Hopefully he makes it then.
We should, by the looks of it, have about 10 people, which is at least a decent sized grid.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Are you thinking of changing the time if iRacing isn't going on, or now that Fridays and Saturdays are open, possibly doing one of those if more people are available to the track grid walking?
What's that? Sorry? So
Like
moving
next season.
moving it a bit earlier, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's up to you. It's just, it seems like a lot of people are like, well, we prioritise the track walking thing for ACC.
Oh, I see. Yep. Yeah, because I keep forgetting that that's on.
It's on at 8, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and isn't Academy as well?
Well, it's all the Academy drivers, and anyone can join, so like me and Toto are struggling to track, you can just jump in and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have a word with some of the other admins and see if there's a better time that suits, like an hour earlier or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, iRacing doesn't seem like it's going to be going ahead anytime soon. It sucks because I was kind of looking forward to Riot. The little radicals. There's so much on duos and sprints.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think. Yeah, whereas before it was like mostly ACC. Now it's sort of everyone's being spread between like a bunch of different series. So I guess it's like
LMU. I'm tempted to get LMU. I'm so sure I'll get pissed off at lag.
From what I have been able to play of it, I've enjoyed it, or I've been getting used to it, and it's been good. But then the game just doesn't want to launch for me. Like 99% of the time, it'll get to the. Have
you tried like disabling NVIDIA overlays and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'll have to properly go through and mess around even more. But yeah, it just doesn't want to work.
I know
and all that.
I know Undead and hashtag Turtle have been having fun because like when you jump in over lobbies, at least when you get the end, you go to like the licensing. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like going through iRacing all over again. It's like going all the way through rookies.
Like Joe had it was Undead or Joe had like a clean race, no issues, no nothing, and went up like 3 or 4%, and then like had a bad one and went down like 15%. It's like, oh my god, that's rough.
So how boring was the Japanese Grand Prix?
Yeah, we were long overdue a normal F1 race, I think.
And it's just the fact that McLaren's botched it themselves. Like
yes, I did.
Undercut one car and then pit on the same lap. Like what?
Oh, and then my favorite bit, Lando could have slipped in behind Max and immediately just been able to like slipstream him. Like you could pass him at any point during that race, but no, decides to go mow the lawn. What a just a fuckwit.
And then like even after that, just failed pit stops. The fact that they didn't let Piastri pass to have a go, and then just be like, look, if you can't get him, swap back. Like
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I think it's because they would lose too much time getting.
Lando just couldn't catch. So it's like give Piastri a go. He keeps closing in on you. He seems to have more pace. Give him a go, and then if, like I said, you've seen it done by quite a few. I think Merck used to do it all the time.
They did with Bottas, yeah. In Hungary, if I remember.
But again, it's more like for Oscar to overtake, he would have had to like rather put Lando in a bad position, and then it really ruins the race. And then Lando would have to slow down, and by that time, Max would have maybe gained another 2 seconds. Like that's how close the car's now. Whereas you could swap the Mercedes back in the day because no one could catch them.
Yeah, but like if with the Merc, like with where they were, Piastri would have been almost straight into DRS of Max, the pace he had. If you let him pass, and then because there was no way Lando, and each time Lando got within like 1.1 seconds, he just fell straight back off.
Yeah, I think McLaren just have a very interesting problem on their hands
With the two drivers,
yeah.
Mind you, Piastri should have locked up pole. He just bottled it. So
Stuff that.
Yeah, I just saw there was a video that was explaining like where he went wrong, but it just like that's like just unfortunately that's how the races go. But I think it's obvious that like Piastri would have won Australia if he didn't spin out onto the grass like he did because he was catching Norris.
He was, yeah. And then if he didn't bottle, I reckon if any one of those three cars up front had got out in front, they would have been comfortable to just sit there. Really, I reckon the Pies would have run away with it if, let's say, Max was third. But that's racing, I guess.
Yeah, again, they have pretty much locked down the constructors at this point. It's just how bad can they fumble the drivers' championship?
And what did they do with Red Bull? They start trying to develop a safer car to drive, so that number two kind of go, well, or do they go, no, let's get Max the world title again, like give him a chance and keep developing it for him.
I really don't understand. Like, it's one of those weird things because, of course, they're going into a new homologation period, so now they've got to do they want to prioritize? Yeah, they're probably going to focus on the next one, but then that has to then have the team go, well, Yeah, and I think it was Ryan in the server was explaining like there is a rule about like they can't take the car all the way back to pre 2023 Zandvoort because it's their flaw that's causing a lot of the issues, and then they designed the car in that direction, and now they only got so many parts they can go back to.
Alright, the server seems to be up now.
Yep. I'll chuck the password in chat just once I find it.
That was a good timing. I just came back from AFK and I was about to ask, are we there yet?
Perfect timing.
Now you owe me $50.
But now the World Drivers' Championship, the margin is 1 point between Max and Lando, so makes the next two races interesting.
That's for sure.
If Max pulls it out again, like Lando should just retire.
Yeah, it's one of those things where... Wait, you've been disconnected from multiple... I'll try again.
The last 10 laps of the race, I was just screaming, "Fuck off, Norris!" Like PSG, go for it.
I think even like 10 laps would have been too late.
Yeah.
Like they were sat there for a good like 15, 20 even.
Because like, it doesn't make sense that Norris should save the tire in a way. Because
It's telling me in followed password. Is it got the CA at the end, or have you typed that in wrong?
Yeah, at the end.
Why does it keep telling me?
It is case sensitive.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Have you got the right lobby?
Yeah. Come on.
That's a weird one. Maybe try restarting the game quickly.
Like, it keeps doing it. What?
Out of curiosity, you did join through Just Race, correct?
No. Do I have to join through Just Race?
You shouldn't have to. It should still just show up.
It just tells me wrong. I'll try Just Race.
Oh, so you don't have to do the mandatory pit stop in this race.
You can run to, like you will be able to on a fuel tank, on a full tank rather. Although it just depends what tires you pick. Can
I
you
don't
guys
wanna
hear
talk-
me?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're good. Not to talk about the GP for too much longer, but
Is it that
to have
No,
Sonoda
I
be
know what it is,
on
but
the
the
social medias
sessions
be
aren't
so happy
loading
for
up.
Max, it upsets me just because it's like they've held him back for so many fucking years, and they treat it. This is how they get him up. Like,
Yeah, then they've uprooted him from a team where he's actually, again, doing... Like, it hurts both him and Lawson. That they've had to relearn the cars, for one, and then go back to their respective new teams, and it's like... This, yeah, not enough time you've given them.
I'm starting to think that Helmut Marko is actually extremely racist. Like that's
You've
my only
only
reason.
just realised
Yeah.
But like to me, I'm just a part of my brain just made the joke of like, does Helmut Marko still blame Japan for like the reason why Germany, like Nazi Germany, lost World War II, or does he just hate the fact that that Tsunoda is not like pure white Nordic, and it just shits me to tears.
It wouldn't surprise
He
me.
has a massive crush on Max. Yeah, I don't know. I reckon Yuki should have been in the seat. Or they needed to give Lawson more time last time around. Like last season.
I think there's been a lot of talk about the fact that they just had no time to actually do any like testing for these cars. Like they get so little time outside of like the public testing sessions. Because yes, I know they want to create a more equal field, but now we come like it's really bad when like you end up in this situation. But yeah, hopefully for 2028 they actually come up with like a new homologation rules that actually make sense.
Just make everyone a rookie, like Alonso a couple years ago. Give him more time.
Well, I think there was one rumor that people were saying like there is actually a movement, but like that grain of salt situation, just to keep the current regulations around for another 2 more years, because apparently a lot of manufacturers are struggling to make the engines to the way they want them.
And then they're going to drop them for the V8s possibly anyway.
I think they're planning on shutting that vote down, to be honest. I think that's the latest thing I've seen. They're not going to go back to the V10. Because I guess they've invested all this time in like the V6 anyway. So...
But then just like my contention is like if these next engines aren't working out, the fans want a louder car, then just keep the V6s, or maybe you can just go back to like you can only have an engine of this size, but you can have anywhere up to between 2 to 8 cylinders, and just let the manufacturers decide. But I guess then the other argument is that a car manufacturers want to create EVs, so just let the smaller engine companies come in, like Mugen and. And hopefully Ben Suleiman is voted out this year as well.
I do laugh that they get told off for like swearing in body sports and everything like that. Like, man, kids are watching fucking like way worse on YouTube and
Oh no, the TikTok thirst traps for OnlyFans models, that's a bigger problem for kids than Max Verstappen just saying the car's fucked in the press conference.
And it's like the kids aren't going to be really watching the press conferences anyway. Well, not most of them. But like...
Oh, I don't even watch the press conferences. Most of them are just...
exactly. But like, yeah, in terms of a broadcast sense, like while they're driving, just choose not to broadcast the message. That's what the sensors are for. I don't know.
it's like when it's like, oh, X drivers are really whiny drivers. It's like, no, I bet all the drivers are saying close to that kind of stuff. It's just they pick and choose which drivers they have these little sessions come up with that broadcast.
But I have to say, I did realise that in Formula Chat, in another server, the language I would have been using, I would have received like so many fucking fines if I was an F1 driver. Because if I was Piastri, I wouldn't be saying, God, can we swap positions? It would just be like, fucking hell, man, get the fuck out of the way, you cunt. Fucking Jesus Christ, you shit, fuck me. McLaren's new sponsor, Jim's fucking mowing.
this sporting, like it's like it's for the kids. Yet you have all this betting shit and everything going on all the sports these days as well.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. Yep.
It's a whole other argument.
like,
Bring back the cigarettes. They're better for the children.
I missed the martini livery on
Yeah, on the Williams. Alright, it's 8 o'clock. I'm ready to get this going if everyone who's should be here is here. So. And as long as everyone's picked the correct car.
Let's do it. Good.
Alright. So in terms of a quick little driver's briefing, I suppose. So Canada, as a track, the pit lane is particularly sort of unique from the others. Obviously, pit entry just goes straight on, whereas the final corner you'll be slowing down for. So if you do need to pit in, make sure you keep an eye on the drivers in front of you and don't run into the rear of them. Pit exit as well is different to the modern layout. It doesn't shortcut that sort of turn 1, 2. It just puts you straight out before the left-hander of turn 1. So just be aware of that. Quali is not a private session. You will all be out there at the same time sharing the track. So make sure to find a clear bit of track for yourself and keep comms to a minimum, apart from, let's say, if you're calling out, if you're on a hot lap. And similar to the race, just, yeah, make sure to keep comms down if they're not completely necessary.
I was about to say, if you've got someone up your clacker going, you can just call that you're going into the pits so that they're like more aware of it. Is that like fine?
That's fine. If you're calling like pitting in, then yeah, that's absolutely okay. And potentially pitting out. Apart from that, you can also add the relative to your HUD. So if you pause while you're in the driver's seat, you can edit the HUD layout. I believe you have to pause at the top of the keys, which doesn't show up when you're just in the garage. Another thing as well, as always, like those of you who've raced in MS2 will know, make sure you've got a race strategy set up. Make sure you have damage repair turned off initially. Otherwise, you can change it through the MFD. But yeah, make sure you have the tyres and any refueling you might potentially want to do all set up beforehand so you're not fiddling around while you're driving.
37 laps? 38?
35 laps it should be.
So, and I assume we've got a mandatory pit stop.
Not like it used to be. So previously when these races were 75%, you were limited by fuel anyway, so you were forced to stop. But these cars can do a full length race because it's a half race distance, but fuel use and tyre wear are 2 times.
Are we just doing like an honorary you have to do sort of thing?
I mean, if you think you can go the whole race and be quick on 1 tank of fuel and say hard tyres, then more power to you. I'm not going to disallow that.
So no mandatory pit stop.
Correct. But yeah, if you're on softs, like they will wear out, even if you're keeping lockups to a minimum. So it may be a good idea to pit. 35.
Who the hell's facing the wrong way at the pit exit? Pit entry.
I didn't see anyone there.
Looked like somebody had driven out the wrong way out of the pits and then stopped. Like just on the track side of it.
Tire core brakes. Actually, not over here. Let's check this
Hairpin's pretty tricky. Yeah, he exit. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit. I've got to remember that I can brake a little bit later, but obviously not too late because they aren't modern brakes.
Are you using a sim card? Are you using one?
I'm using Gen 2. What are you in? Yeah, I didn't have any much pace in the Gen 3. I feel like the brakes are better in the Gen 3.
Yeah, you really got to ease power on carefully with the hairpin.
That or I'm not braking enough, like I'm not fully pressing them. Yeah, I do. It's just... Oh my god, stop it! It's on the exit of the... I almost flip it every time at the exit of the hairpin. It just like keeps wanting to rotate. Oh, right, the tire's faster. I thought that if you're doing one, you may go to both. Does fueling take longer than tire change?
Yeah, it depends on how much you're putting in.
I'm just gonna go fuel and have a lighter car. I've also added downforce, so that kind of takes some of the strength away from the car. I reckon just surviving is gonna be huge.
Same thing, but there's no return to downforce. This was really perfect. Not to change anything. Yeah, that's just my quality pace. Not that fast, honestly. Quite slow.
Are we in qualifying right now, or?
Just at the end of free practice.
Oh, it's quality started.
All right, so going into quali now. Remember,
Right, click
you
the
are all
exit
sharing the
menu.
track, so make sure to find some space for yourself, and please try not to overtake anyone that's on a hot lap if you're also on a hot lap.
Good luck on it.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Up.
Okay, so Brady, you should be able to try joining back now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my wheel to work with AMS2 and it's not working at the moment.
Have you done the PC2 stuff? Have you had it, or have you had it working before?
It's working before, but then I had to fuck around with it when it wasn't. I had to reset all the bikes. It's like in the middle. If I make it, I make it.
In the options, go to it's like force feedback telemetry, and you can set it to Project Cast 2, and it'll use Project Cast 2 data. That's what I had to do. Four laps, correct? 4 laps, yeah?
It's having a few issues. Got disconnected before quality for some reasons. Just jumping back in the correct car.
Yep.
This multiplayer search function is the worst of it.
It's not ideal.
Sorry, I didn't know what you were going to do there.
Yeah, I missed the shift.
Just watch for Spectre as well. Oh, Doug Ryan turned up.
Alright, that is quali done. Very close at the top. Just remember that once I hit continue, we will be put on the grid with a 2-minute countdown. Make sure you have your race set up and pit strategy all set by then. If you do not hit ready up before the end of that countdown, you will be placed in the pits and unable to start.
Is it too late to join now? I can't join.
I mean, I'm about to hit continue, but if it doesn't put you on the grid after that, then I think it might be too late, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that's alright. It says waiting, but I don't know. Spectate. That's alright. Good luck. Have fun.
No worries.
Now to do the experiment. Do the softs last half race.
How many laps are we doing again? 35, right?
35.
Quick question before we begin. Are we doing formation lap?
Negative. It's just a standing start.
And what's the procedure for retirements if we feel like we're so far behind there's no point continuing? Just pull into the pits?
Yeah, just pull into the pits, and then alternatively, like if the car's really damaged and you can't bring it back, make sure you've pulled over to the side somewhere safe, and you can go return to garage through the pause menu. That will just retire the car. There's no way to get back to the pits.
If you do get damaged, get the car back to the pits if you want to keep racing, because if you return to pits, it's actually a DNF.
Thank you. Will do.
30 seconds.
Remember to hit ready or it will kick you out as well.
And remember, cold tires and brakes down to turn 1. The car will
I didn't buy
not
the
stop
clutch.
too well. Okay, it's just me left to go. 15 seconds. Good luck.
See how I do with zero practice.
Auto start, so.
There was contact up in front. Oh my god. We're locking up because of cold tires.
Go through that.
only a little one. Really struggling at 5 and 6. Onto that one mini deer straight. Oh, that's right, you're going no stopper, aren't you? Oh, Jesus, that's Jesus. 100 should be right on the borderline. Yeah, that'd be like borderline. Why not like 80? And you can't change the pressures in the pits, can you?
I can. I just need to.
With all the new MFD. Oh, you passed hydrogen. pretty sure he's no stopping those, so I'm having a fun battle, but it's one of those things that's probably got twice as much fuel as me. And on hard tires or medium tires.
Yeah, I just spun.
Oh no. Keep it at all?
I think directional damage got my better than
The damage is lessened, so just give it a lap and see how you feel. Oh
Sorry, Balls.
You're good. Well, the time I had a flat spot. I like oil grinding, so I had to like slam the brakes on. They're only like the tiny ones, like the very smallest, but it's not actually that bad. Well, if you get another couple laps, you should be able to go on mediums, right? Or are you going to try and... Like, my softs is still like 70% or 80%.
I'll probably just go on soft. I can't use medium because remember I can't set down pressure. So, with a higher pressure, I'll probably just go on soft. The soft can check it for pressure.
I am not sure how that works.
So, probably just gonna take it a few more laps and I'll go for soft. Unless at the end I've definitely messed up.
Even if it's on a different strategy, I'm having fun battling Parallax. He's in the slowest car in the world though, except when he has it straight.
Yeah, it's not risky.
Settled it. Oh, that's you. You lock
Yeah.
up again?
No, not lock up. I have a spot.
7 seconds to Franco. Wonder if we'll get rain. Pretty overcast out here. What would have to change is having a bit of rain. What's a pit stop? Oh, I've got to take fuel, so it'll be a long ass pit stop, won't it? It's not like the 30 seconds that it normally would be.
6 seconds.
Because I'm trying to see what kind of gap I have to kind of try and push to be not super far off parallax when I come out. Hey, but you didn't DNF, so doing good. Better than at what was it? harsh and not gonna take tires, maybe. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on with Franco. He seems to have dropped off a little bit. I'm not sure if he's just not taking. If he's like on meetings or something, because the softs are way faster.
Thank you.
You must be able to put a brake chip here or something.
Sorry, I just. Is it worth it pitting again, or are they drivable?
No, DNF. So, this is actually DNF.
Oh! You're dead.
Yeah,
Surprised they didn't call out a safety car.
I didn't notice the flat spot is that big of an issue until the flat corner here and just completely spun the car. So.
Oh yeah, and that corner is one where I'm struggling. It's like weird, it must be like slightly bumpy or off camber.
If you are brave, what I did was I just stuck it all the way into the inside wall.
Oh yeah.
It helps, but it's dodgy.
Well, you made it further than Imola. Yeah, some of that was also desync and stuff, I think. That was just terrible, which is seems a lot better tonight.
What happened was, I mean, cold break and the guy just dived it down and so it's shot me into the tire box.
Catching this guy, which is should be. Almost like the rears like we did there. Oh, sorry, but did I hit you there? You. Yeah, I wasn't anywhere near him on my screen.
He hit the yes, you know, the race anchor and he just lost it.
Ah.
From what I see, definitely was, I don't see him hit him.
Yeah, I was nowhere near him on my screen. Did he pit? No. So he didn't hit the wall?
He did, he's scrubbing it. I guess it's not.
Damage is lower.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, did Publix pit? Or is it that just his big issue that he had all the time? Ah, yep. I've taken too much fuel, but it's better than running out, I guess.
Nice cricket.
Yeah, pass me that. It's exit 7.
Thanks.
I wonder what cars they'll pick next after the F1 cars. If they'll go modern F1. That'd be fun. Doing like the, I think they're called like hype or something. Super Formula. Yeah, if you go to it's not Super Formula. It's called something else because of licensing. But there's like a modern F1 car with the ERS and everything. Yeah, that's the one. I wonder if we'll do those next. Ringo did pit, but he took less. Or just did a better pit stop. I kept hitting my pit limit, I was trying to hit the menu. Yeah, what was that? At least he kept off the line. it's just your parallax pissing off. I really wish I hadn't put in that extra fuel. I think Frank is going to be faster than me. Oh my. I guess that car is right here. About 4 seconds from Frank is on for me. Yeah, I don't know if he realised he was lagging or if he knows he's
Looks
on a
like
different track. He's trying to do some LMU or messing around with Formula Ultimates and stuff. Think about
Augusta.
Snedden and Snedden and Britain that you both got to do on.
There wasn't any contact, was there, Matt?
Thanks, Knight.
I'm really trying to be late on the brakes.
Sorry about that, mate. Sorry, Alex.
I don't think I'm close to anyone.
Oh, I think he made a mistake here. Poisoning. Just slightly. Missed that.
Cheers.
Catch you later. Unlucky race. Next time it's probably best to do what we did and do soft. Although next is endurance, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's Britain next.
Yeah, I mean, I screw my own setup, so it's not really unlucky, just my own fault. So,
Oh well. Better luck next time.